welcome to the Radiant Black podcast, everyone. It's a new year, but it's the same show, and we are your humble and radiant hosts. We've got Bash, aka me, Eddie, aka Firefly, and Charlie, of course. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing good. As you can see, I have a new background behind me, but fear not, it is the same room. I just ended up switching my desk around. But yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. 2025. Hopefully, a great year for comics in the Massiveverse. How you doing, Charlie?
Doing good. Some mixed feelings. Just got some kind of crappy news. It's been kind of a weird last couple days. We had some really good news on Kickstarter. With the first issue of Inferno Go Red for anyone who's backing that. Got to read the first 40 pages of that, which absolutely rocks. But this Massiveverse card game kind of keeps getting delayed and delayed, and we just found out it's not coming up to Canada. I'm not sure if that's all Canadians or just us. Ali's not really sure. He's kind of on the fence about that. So that was a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie to hear that today. But nonetheless, we're here. Killer issue of C.O.W.L. I did really enjoy this one, actually. But yeah, can't wait to get into it. How are you, Bash?
Yeah, mixed feelings. I mean, I'm really excited for the new year. Got our resolutions. We've got so much to cover on the show. We just reached out to the writer and co-creator of Radiant Black and the Massiveverse, Kyle Higgins. We're hoping to have him and Joe Clark on the show soon. So, tentative to their schedules and everything. We'll see, but I'm thinking it'll probably happen. We're also going to reach out to Ryan Parrott soon because we just ended the Rogue Sun arc, and we're excited to talk about Vicarious, the Infernals, Rogue Sun moving forward, considering there was a big surprise at the end of 24, including them showing the cover for 25, which has the surprise on it. And Michael Busuttil in the letter section teased yet another new villain. So I was joking that, and I don't think I'm joking anymore. I actually think Ryan Parrott is one of the most prolific comic book villain creators of all time, especially if you consider one series. I think there's already almost 20 villains in Rogue Sun in just like 24 issues, 25 issues. That's incredible. And so many of them have such incredible personalities, designs. So credit to Ryan, Abel, Bruno Frenda, Marco Renna, everyone that works on the books, creating these characters. Just incredible stuff. But I got to agree with Charlie. I am pretty disappointed with the Massiveverse fighting card game update. It just like, this is the letter we got, okay? This is the email we got. Happy New Year from Solus Game Studio. Not very happy considering the news, but we are reaching out to inform you that during the holiday season, some of our inventory for the Massiveverse, and they've spelled Massiveverse wrong here, which is like, come on, proofread. Fighting card game was mishandled. Unfortunately, your order was one of the orders affected. Oh, by the way, all of us got this email. I didn't get anything. Just no messages. Me and Charlie, we
That's
got
what
this
I
email.
reached out for.
Yeah,
I reached out
you
to
should
them
be.
for the shipping myself.
Yeah. So they said you should be receiving or have already received the Massiveverse fighting card game. There was a mistake at fulfillment and your copy of the Massiveverse Team Up expansion was lost. We are placing an express order from China to reprint the Team Up expansion at the first available manufacturing slot and will airmail the expansion directly to you from China. Ideally, we could get it printed and shipped to you sometime spring 2025. We are sorry for this delay and are taking steps with fulfillment to ensure this does not happen again with our fulfillment partners. Thank you. And this on top of the fact that the card game is being sold at comic book stores. You can get it then, but we all backed it. We paid pretty high shipping fees, so we don't really want to buy it twice. This hurts, especially being a podcast centered around Radiant Black and the Massiveverse. We had so many plans. We had so many fun videos planned. We had so many play dates planned where we want to play the game. We love the Massiveverse. We want to experience it. We weren't one of the social people like the influencers or whatever you call it, YouTubers that got like the promo given to them to promote the card game, unfortunately. So this kind of just sucks. It's disappointing. I feel like the rollout's been very, I don't know, like
hectic.
Clunky. Yeah, hectic, clunky. There's been a lot of delays. I'm not particularly impressed, if I'm being honest. And to wait another 3 to 4 months, assuming 3 to 5 months, assuming there's no further delays, is a lot to ask, I think, of backers, considering like they made it possible. I'm hoping in the future that this is this isn't the case. And as Charlie was mentioning, they're still selling a lot of the packs on their website. So I don't know if it's just, or the games, I don't know if it's just they're not shipping them out because they're waiting specifically for the Team Up expansion or whatnot. I'm assuming that's the case, but I don't know, just disappointed overall. Hopefully we get them sooner rather than later. We look forward to it. We're excited for it. We've been talking about it, but chances are there's already going to be tons of videos on the card game out there by the time we get it. So if you want to see what the game is like, experience the gameplay, from a spectator point of view, I recommend checking those out. I know some amazing people like a nerd named Mark on YouTube, Sound Out on YouTube, amongst I think even Nerd Initiative. They all had some card sessions and talked about the game. So go check them out. They're friends of the show and everything. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but at least I will say during this time, we got the Inferno Go Red book 2 update Charlie mentioned, and they did drop, I think, a third of the book digitally. So that was really nice.
We know how many pages? Like 40 pages, something like that, right?
40 pages, yeah. So
definitely softened
really
the blow
nice.
a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
And especially I think a couple days ago we got an email saying all of the U.S. and Canada shipments were fulfilled, and this was and then a couple days later we found out a bunch of them were destroyed or something. So now they gotta get them back from China. Spring. We'll get them in the spring. Who knows what that means? But
you know what isn't delayed?
It is what it is. It is what
Marvel
it is.
Rivals.
Marvel
Rivals trailer dropped today on time, and we are getting the
Oh,
Fantastic Four. But if you guys look,
that was exciting.
If you look to my right here, you see that in that direction? Do you see Jeff? Can you see it?
Jeff?
I don't see
Jeff the Land Shark.
You have a little Jeff the Land Shark? Oh, that's cool.
You don't see Jeff?
No, no.
Is he on the boxes or in the shelves?
Wait.
You got too many figures, man. It's like, where's Waldo? We can't see.
Where's Jeff? There we go.
There he is.
Nice with the
he's got the the floaty, and he's
Are these
got
Jubilee's glasses?
It might be. I'm not actually sure. Maybe
it looks like it. Yeah, it looks
it's
like
it. It's official, like licensed product as well. So these were exclusive, like from the, I think it was like PAX or something like that. So there were only like 3,000 of these made or something like that. There's not a lot of them. Yeah, so I was very
Jeff is definitely gaining a ton of popularity after.
And if you're a fan of Jeff, they are reprinting on FOC, not this Monday, not today, next Monday. It's I think January 13th. They are reprinting It's Jeff, the number one, his first number one, fourth print, and they're reprinting It's Jeff, the Jeff first. So if you missed out on this, what is going on here? If you missed out on those and you want to read them, please pick them up on FOC because those books are crazy expensive now. And Jeff is adorable, and I've read those books and they're really, really good. You can give them to anyone, kids, adults, all ages. They're really cute. Even my girlfriend doesn't really read a lot of comics. She read them. She loved them. So highly recommend checking those out. Anyway, let's talk about the Massiveverse. So yeah, as everyone knows, we're on hiatus. Rogue Sun and Radiant Black won't be back until Rogue Sun in March 2025, Radiant Black in February. They've already solicited the issues, so you can see the covers and everything. There's a gorgeous Jock 125 foil variant. And they're doing ratios again, by the way. So Rogue Sun and Radiant Black are coming back with ratios moving forward. They look really good. The ratio for Rogue Sun is a Detective Comics 38, which is the first appearance Dick Grayson homage. I need to get that. That's going to be so hard to get, by the way, because nobody's. I don't know
Marcelo, right? Marcelo's
by Marcelo Costa. Yeah, by Marcelo Costa. So
incredible.
It's so good. We posted it on our socials. If you want to see it, you can find it online as well. I can't wait for that. That's going to be my favorite Rogue Sun cover. I need to get that. So yeah, got some incredible variants coming up. So it's exciting to be back, within that gearing up for the return of the Massiveverse space. And C.O.W.L, we've got the last issue of C.O.W.L coming up. So this is issue 3. We got one more issue that's on February 26th. So it's quite a ways away, but maybe there's a reason for that. Who knows? So yeah, without further ado, here we got C.O.W.L 1964 number 3 by Kyle Higgins, Alec Siegel, Reis, and I forget the Beaudoin is the letterer.
Buddy Beaudoin, yeah.
Beaudoin, yeah. So we're not going to go a page-by-page analysis for this book. We want to keep it short, simple, and nice. I will say that last issue, as we talked about, things were starting to build up and percolate. The issue ended with a massive reveal, which is it's been outed the information that Jeffrey Warner basically assigned the hit on the guy whose name I forget because there's so many people.
Mr. Camden.
Camden, right?
Yeah.
So in this issue, immediately we pick up from that and we start with, the fallout of that in terms of like what's going on, how are people responding to this. There's a lot of flashbacks in this issue. It starts with
honestly, those were my favorite parts of the whole series so far, I want to say.
Yeah.
Every single flashback in this issue delivered 100%.
Mm-hmm. World War II flashback, right?
First 2 pages. It starts with 1944 in France, yeah. It's Jeffrey, Blaze, and that's where they find, what was his name, Sparrow, right? The little
Yeah,
kid.
that's
Yeah,
where
Paul,
that's where they
yeah,
meet
Paul.
Paul
right?
for the first
Yeah.
time. Yeah, and he comes and saves the day, and he says he's
He's
gonna show
so
them a better way.
badass though.
Yeah,
He
no,
is.
Yeah.
he is really cool. He's their little Robin, right? Like
Yeah.
he
But
is
he's like
Robin in this
he's
universe.
he
Except
feels like an adult, doesn't he? Like
yes,
it's
he
like
does.
the way he talks, it's like he's traumatized.
He
He's
definitely is.
never
I mean, he said his
really
parents died too.
Yeah, he's never
Yeah.
really lived a normal life. It seems like he's kind of been dealing with this war, and all this craziness in the world since he was a little kid. But yeah, I really found this issue showed you really where the Grey Raven transitioned from the Grey Raven into Jeffrey Warner himself as just the leader of C.O.W.L. And actually, all these flashbacks also made me go back to issue 6 too, and like Jeffrey Warner's origin, and it actually does go a lot. It flashes back a lot with that issue, and kind of just how he became the Grey Raven. And but yeah, the flashbacks were really cool just to see an insight of all this, because we know Blaze and Jeffrey do have some secrets that they're trying to keep, and Blaze is kind of getting a little tired of it, it seems.
Yeah. They have that conversation. It was a bit tense where, I think words were exchanged, but I think the looks said a lot more. The way Blaze looks at
The tone,
Jeffrey, the way
too.
Jeffrey, the tone, you can tell like it's getting very tense. They're kind of, maybe he's starting to lose faith in the whole thing, and he's starting to see Jeffrey for what he really is, this like power hungry, crazy person. Then we get another flashback in Chicago, this time in 1946. I gotta say, I think, in my personal opinion, that the art in this book is some of the best of the year. I do really think so. I put it up there with some of the best books of the year in terms of the art. I think the art's fantastic. I think the book itself is great, but I think there are a few things stopping it from being one of the best books of the year, even though it's a solid book. The first is that this is not a book that you can sell someone on having not read C.O.W.L. It just doesn't work. So many of the revelations are built on had to have read C.O.W.L, which is fine because this does advertise itself as a sequel to that series. So it's not a criticism. It's just more something that I'm pointing out. Second is, I just think I think No One, Cal 1964, Ordinary Gods, I think all these stories are incredible, but I actually think they're too sophisticated for the like the casual audiences. I think they're too smart. I think it's too plot heavy, and even though you could argue it's character heavy as well, it is, but there's too many characters. It's really difficult to remember. And then when you have an issue of Cal that's like coming out once every 2 or 3 months, it's really hard to remember like the details, which in a book like this is very important. The details are very important because that's what the revelations are built on. So I think those things kind of hurt my personal ranking of this book being in the top like 10 or 15 books of the year, even though at first I had it up there. I just think like with that in mind, I still think it's an incredible book. I think it's beautiful. I think it really closes out like the C.O.W.L saga really well. It's an incredible sequel in that sense, and I think it's really nice to get that. But I do think those things are holding it back a little bit in terms of like having a wider audience and all that.
Definitely agree. And I think one thing this book would benefit huge from, and my favorite thing about Marvel Comics, and DC's doing this a little bit more, is just these short recap pages. They really keep you in it, especially when you got these long hiatuses to just kind of come back in and just refresh your mind and be like, oh. Like I totally forgot that. But totally agree with the art. Absolutely incredible. And this book definitely it was very much told as a sequel. But I think this actually could have been a good jumping on point for a lot of people that weren't completely into C.O.W.L, or those Radiant Black fans who couldn't get into C.O.W.L. This could have been a good moment for them. But yeah, I think this is definitely a tough book to get into if you haven't read all of that material, which
I mean, the whole
does
like,
benefit C.O.W.L fans. I will say that.
No, it's like kind of like Bash said too. Like, to echo that sentiment, it is a good book. I'm enjoying it because I like
It's a
C.O.W.L.
really good book.
It's just if you've never read C.O.W.L, it's very hard for
You
you.
can't
to pick it up
get
and
into this if you've
understand
never read
what's going on,
C.O.W.L.
right? The whole premise of
you would be
this
lost.
specific story is that it's the aftermath of all the events that happened in C.O.W.L.
Yeah, you'd be lost.
100%.
Like you'd be like, what? Who's this person? Like, who's Camden Stone? That'd be
Right.
you'd be like, who's Camden Stone? Why are they important?
Yeah.
I will say, a lot of my compliments for this issue, even though I think the script is great, the writing's fantastic, Kyle and Alec kill it. They, there's a tone for this book, and I think they capture that tone perfectly. And I think that when my sophisticated comment, I think, is more so a compliment than a criticism, because when you think about it, there's so many movies or shows that are super sophisticated, that are ahead of their time. I always think about Blade Runner, both Blade Runners, but Blade Runner, the first one, and Blade Runner 2049. Both movies are super ahead of their time. Both movies didn't do very well financially, but they're critically, and I would argue, some of the best sci-fi movies ever made. So I feel like I put these stories in that vein, where it's like they're excellent stories, but you're gonna have to really be wired when you're reading them, because there's so many little details. Is that a bad thing? No, but when a lot of your books are like that, it's just hard when you have 2 or 3 month gaps between each issue, because it's like so many of the details, it's hard to keep fresh in your mind, especially if you read other comic books.
Yeah.
I will say though, Rod Rice, the coloring in this book is insane. So because look at the
Yes.
color, you have the flashback in the first one where it's pretty much black and white until there's blood and Blaze shows up, and the colors there, they're there for a reason. But then you go to this flashback and they're just purely flat colors, right, to distinguish the time zones, to make it clear that this is a flashback in a different way, though it's not, it has less
I
grit.
love the flat colors,
Yeah,
honestly. Like
I
this was
love
my
it.
favorite
Love it. Yeah.
sequence. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. I love the style, the kabam, the blams, the exaggeration of the
Yeah.
lettering, and these, like, it feels like almost like Batman 66-esque, but not in the
Yeah. Yeah.
silly sense, in the like colorful and embracing that
The
time
visual identity
sense.
almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say, the fact that this man, Rod Rice, is balancing between three completely different color palettes in this issue, and then we get to the rain scene later on where the media is interviewing Jeffrey Warner, and all the background, because of the rain, the ambiance, they're all black and white, but Jeffrey's fully colored. Those scenes are so powerful. I don't know, if I just felt like, wow, it just sticks out so well. It feels like you're watching a movie, and there's like this noiry feel to it, but it's also like just the colors, the choices, to mute the background out, to make it the focus on Jeffrey even stronger. Gorgeous, just
I think
incredible work.
the way I read it too is that in those scenes it kind of highlights how Jeffrey himself is only concerned with himself. Like to me, this
Yeah,
Hmm.
almost is a
yeah,
reflection of his own
yeah.
ideals or policies,
Yeah.
that he sees himself above all these people.
100%.
These are all like
He's a
just
narcissist, right? And that
Yeah.
yep,
word gets thrown
yep,
around in this issue quite a
Yep.
few
hmm
times. Yeah.
And it's really shown in these flashbacks too, where how we do meet Blaze's brother, which is kind of cool. He's
just
I believe
darks.
he's shown a lot in the C.O.W.L movie,
Mhm.
which I did read, and I do want to talk about it at some point, which I think would be fun. But I think
Yeah.
really this series is showing more and more like connecting to that movie more than the original series did, which I think is kind of cool. But so yeah, Blaze's brother saves Sparrow from a ledge, and immediately right away, like Jeffrey's just talking about, oh, how Sparrow's been like good for the
All
papers, oh,
right.
we need him, and
The
Blaze's brother's
ratings.
concerned, and yeah,
He's
the
it's
ratings,
almost
like
like that's like
it's
basically
gross.
you know what it reminds me of? It's like the optics of diversity in the modern day, about how like everyone wants a token diversity hire, but they don't really give a shit about
Yep, no,
diversity. They just
100%.
want, it's just make yourself look like you care about this shit, because you can
Yep.
then sell the product more when you say, oh, but we care about these things,
It's
right?
good for
Yeah,
ratings.
exactly. It's good for ratings. I
Yeah.
love that. I thought that was very clever. I agree with you. And yeah, keep going, man. Sorry, I was super into that.
Yeah. No, I love that, and kind of like how we were talking about how the flashbacks were changing so much. Like we go from this super colorful to we flash 7 years later, I believe, and it's just dark. It's completely dark again, and Blaze's brother has gone completely mad just over these last couple of years of dealing with Jeffrey and going through all this crap. And he has Jeffrey tied up with Sparrow, and he's basically torturing the Sparrow, saying that like all these things you're doing is kind of for yourself, but and like even the kid, he's just for optics, but how are your optics going to look if this kid dies right now?
Yep.
So he
Yeah.
is going crazy, and I think what this really showed is that yes, Jeffrey is like, he's a really shitty guy, and he does all these bad things, but at the same time, like all these circumstances around him are also very shitty, and he deals with a lot of shitty people. And this really does go back to his origin story, where he looked up to his dad. All he wanted to be was his dad.
Mm.
Then he found out his dad was a crooked cop, and then he wanted to be a boxer, and he was in a championship match, and then they wanted him to throw the match. Like everywhere he's been, it kind of has, he's seen all this corrupt stuff everywhere, which has kind of just shaped him into the person he is today. But what I did love is I didn't love seeing it, but after Blaze and his brother get into this big fight and he gets the crap beat out of him, you see him doing the Batman and Jason pose, carrying Sparrow out of the building.
holding
It's
him,
I thought
definitely
that
a
was a
Jason
great
Todd
touch.
moment for
I
sure.
thought that was a great touch.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, as the rainy pages progress, like the lines get rougher and sketchier. Like there's a page where all four of them, like the two heroes from last issue, the one who, again, there's a lot of names, I don't remember all of them, sorry. It's Mark Gerald when they go talk to Catherine and what's his name, the other guy, when they go talk to them, Carl, yeah. The figures to the right of them are so sketchy. You can see the lines. They're like very rough lines. I love that. I love that. So it reminded me so much of Bill Sienkiewicz and like artists like that, where it's like they're very abstract in that kind of sense, and they love playing with lines. And I love that. I love that. Man, I really want to see Rod Rice do more. I just started getting into like I love Magic. She's one of my favorite characters, but I'm not huge New Mutants guy. But recently I was like, screw it, I'll just like read the New Mutants because that's for the most part where you can find her. She doesn't have a lot of solo series. So I started reading New Mutants and like I didn't realize
complicated canon and all that,
yeah.
right? The X-Men.
For real, yeah.
I will say though, I
level.
didn't realize that Hickman started the volume, the last one, and Rod Rice was the artist. And then my friend Ed Brisson took over writing duties while Rod Rice was still the artist. So like we got Rod Rice working on New Mutants, drawing Magic. Oh man, I'm buying that shit like it's nobody's business. So I'm very happy about that. And I just want to say I really sincerely hope that we get more Rod Rice work in the future. The guy is freaking incredible. I want to see him do whatever he wants to do. Honestly, if you want to do creator-owned work, that's cool. Rod, I would love to see you do your own indie book, like your own. If you have anything in mind, you want to. Like, your art is so good. It's just, god damn, like that. It needs to be pointed out. It's so good. This is some of the best art I've seen in the entire Massiveverse. Like truly, like this is up there. It's incredible, and he's coloring himself. All those different color palettes. It's all him.
That's absolutely incredible. No, all these different colors, all these different styles. It really does seem like different artists in some of these pages, which is he absolutely kills it. But yeah, this kind of the story is kind of, we're kind of getting to the end here, but we see Carl. He has this specific kind of suspicious feeling about Grant. He's getting skeptical, and we get that confrontation. Him learning that he is the new villain.
Did you guys think he enters with so much aggressiveness? Did you guys think this before? Did you guys think this was gonna get violent?
I did, because you see them in the rain, and I was still trying to read like of what clicked here, but they're talking about how all these like every single big bank has been robbed, and then that's where Carl like kind of a light bulb clicks, and he says, okay, I got to go check up on something. So he's aggressively going off here, but yeah, he looks pissed. He's kind of just in the shadows, like just waiting, and he just doesn't kind of hold back on Grant here, and gives it to him. But he also doesn't know what to do at the same time, because it is his best friend, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to do anything at this point. So no, this confrontation was very good. But yeah, I think it's gonna get violent though. I really do.
The dialogue was on point here as well. Really great writing, great dialogue. Appropriate use of F-bombs in this issue. I think they did it really well. It never felt egregious. It never felt like they were doing it for the sake of doing it. It felt like this was a tense situation. People, emotions are running high. So I thought that was great. And then in the next page we get is it Gray Raven? Sparrow. Sorry, Sparrow. Yeah,
the Batman.
So who is this supposed to be under the mask? Who do we think it is?
This is the kid. This is
the kid. So he never died, right? Yeah. Okay, that's what I took away from it. Yeah.
Listen, before in C.O.W.L, both the movie and in the previous
he was in
books, but he was always like publicly he was presumed dead, right? And then in this flashback, we see that at least Jeffrey didn't see him die. So I'm thinking maybe like Sparrow the hero was announced dead, and then I forgot what the actual person's name is.
Paul, I think Paul.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah.
So Paul was still alive, but to the public, the Sparrow was dead. and it
Yeah.
doesn't
Right.
look like other members of C.O.W.L knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Blaze because he was
Maybe
there.
Blaze,
Blaze
yeah, because
Blaze
he's the
definitely
second.
knows that,
Yeah,
and
he
because yeah,
knows.
he
Yeah,
was freaked
he's in
out
the
the
movie
last
as
time
well.
Right.
Yeah,
he was freaked out the
yeah,
last time he saw him, and yeah, in the movie we see actually
yeah,
Sparrow confronting
yeah.
Jeffrey, and,
Yep.
we
Right.
see it. We see all this cool stuff. But yeah, this next page shows like this is where exactly like there was a scene in issue 6 of Jeffrey finally catching his father, and he catches him getting money from Camden Stone in a car, and then he kind of turns to him, and then he says like, why are you doing this? And then his dad literally says like, you don't understand, like this world is much more complicated than you know. And like this is exactly what Jeffrey says to this little kid. So this is kind of his full
Ooh, cool
turn.
connection.
He's turned
Yeah,
into his dad basically, and now
yeah,
he's gone full off the hinges here. But
yeah.
this
I think
was
that's where
this was
he's run
brutal.
up the slippery slope. Like he
Yeah, no,
slipped right off at this point.
this was brutal, especially because this kid was so like he always trusted Jeffrey no matter what.
Yeah,
It seemed like he always thought Jeffrey had his best interests at heart, which is super messed up. So
yeah.
yeah, and he just throws him under I don't know what
Just
something
purely for
something
optics as
bad.
well. Like this is a
Yep.
pure self-preservation, and
100%.
you could argue it's not like I'm. If it was Jeffrey, he would argue it's not self-preservation because he's trying to preserve the integrity of Cal, which leads to the protection of all. Right? That's exactly what he would say. He would say, "I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this to ensure that Cal remains intact, which is more important for everyone." But the truth is, he's doing this for himself, and I think that's where you really, as the reader, you realize that this is where the slippery slope he slipped off. Has become about preserving power. He's deluded, and the only reason he dismisses Paul is because of the optics. If the optics come out that he put, this happened and blah blah blah, it's going to reflect really poorly on Jeffrey. People are probably not going to want to continue with Cal. So it's a big moment, yeah, and it's a good inciting incident for Paul to become, the person who ends up trying to fix everything in some way, or some sense or
It's
way.
personal
It
too
also,
for him.
yeah, reminds me of No One a little bit in the sense that there's like a rogue operative. There's like all these
Exposing
like
the corruption.
political tensions, corruption, exactly. So there is like vibes of No One here. I kind of like that. I like that aura that it has. Yeah, I thought this was a very powerful issue. I thought this was a really good penultimate issue. I am very, very excited for the final issue.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks that it has to be the last 2 days or something of February, but I'm still very excited. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm excited to see how it's gonna end. Like, is it
Looks like Blaze
finally
is gonna fight
catch
him, at
up
least
to
based on the
Jeffrey?
cover. Do you guys think
It
they're
does
gonna
look
fight
like it.
Blaze in the? Yeah, because
It
it
does look
looks
like
like,
it. Or if anything,
but like it could be misleading, where it's like they come and they talk,
right?
right? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
we as comic fans, we know not to trust
we know,
what's on the
we know the
cover.
traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a happy ending. The happy ending might be not a happy ending for Jeffrey, but is him somehow having to step away from C.O.W.L somehow. Because I'm not sure still in this universe, but I do know at some point like he basically made it illegal to be a superhero anywhere. So where he wanted to be a superhero himself, like he's made it illegal to be a superhero anywhere unless you're enrolled by C.O.W.L under him, which is kind of weird. So I think he's got to go. But at the same time, I don't expect this to be a happy ending. And I think Jeffrey might win this day out. But yeah, I hope Sparrow gives it to him because man, yeah, he really did him dirty, really.
I agree. Overall, I'm really glad we got this as a sequel to the Cow. I'm loving it personally. Again, like with my slight constructive criticisms from earlier, even with that in mind, I still think this is a fantastic book that I would recommend to people. But I would encourage, if you want to get the full impact, the full beauty of the narrative, I would recommend reading Cow first. Which, if you're interested in that, you're lucky because they have, I think, I don't know the exact dates. It's up in the air. Everyone has a different. I haven't seen them in the market yet, but they are reprinting Cow Volume 1 and 2, which collects the entire original Cow except for issue 6, which is not going to be collected in the reprint, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm confusing that, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. And then we have a compendium coming up in 2026. At least it's been in the solicits and it's on the Amazon listings. Elsewhere you could see it, and it collects the whole thing. So all the 11 issues of Cow plus the 4 issues from this run, so 15 issues total. That's going to be really cool. If you're a Cal head, I probably am going to wait for that because I think having it all in one would be really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it really would be. And yeah, also just wanted to point out the next cover of issue 4 does look super badass of Blaze and Sparrow
Yeah, it does.
fighting on a train here in the rain. I'm guessing that's done by Rod. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I'm
gorgeous.
definitely excited for the finale and to see if it does continue on. To what extent will we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about this, maybe possibly them leaving kind of crumbs into Radiant Black somehow. I think that could be cool. But yeah, are they going to end it off, or are they going to kind of leave this thing going? So
Yeah,
yeah, should be interesting.
for sure, for sure.
Why? What if no one is Paul?
I think Paul would be too old to be jumping off rooftops
Yeah.
at that point, man.
Yeah, I'm just like have fun with it. I will say though, fantastic stuff. Very much looking forward to the next issue. And if you're a fan of Massiveverse, if you've been holding off No One, which is another book by Kyle Higgins with co-writing with Brian Buccellato, art by Geraldo Borges, and Mark Engler doing the colors with letters by Hassan Atsman Al-How. That's a world-class creative team right there. No One's awesome. It's a very interactive experience. It's a podcast. It's like almost an ARG experience as well. There's a lot to it. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the trade paperback for No One just released. It's really nice. It's similar to all the Radiant Black trades, but it's much thicker. It's a really thick trade. It's like for a Massiveverse trade, it's pretty thick. And I will say one last thing I want to show off. I'm gonna go get it. So you guys just take over the chat for a second. But yeah, No One in stores now, and it says according to this the C.O.W.L issue that in the back it says Volume 1, Principles of Power, collecting C.O.W.L 1 to 5 is out now, and it says Volume 2, The Greater Good of C.O.W.L, which is issue 7 to 11, is the new printing available fall 2024. So I would double check for those dates if they haven't been delayed or pushed back, but it seems like both volumes of C.O.W.L are out. I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, we also got Vicarious, keeping us busy until Radiant
Yes.
Black comes back, which has been a blast. I think I'm not sure if issue 4 is out already, but
Let me check real quick.
yeah, I talked about issue. Yeah, we still got issue 3 to do. Me and Matt just talked about issue 2, which was an absolute blast. So yeah, hopefully we can get everyone on to talk about issue 3. Wild series. I can't wait to talk to Ryan about that. Hopefully, we'll honestly have a lot to talk about.
Man, and the covers,
yeah,
man. Like I just pulled it up. I'm looking at all 5 covers. Every single one is fire.
Dan Panosian, man.
Issue
Oh,
4
man.
is January 22nd.
Yeah, Dan Panosian, he's such a beast. And people recently were like trying to like accuse him of being an AI artist, and I'm like, guys, there are literally art books.
I saw that. I
Yeah,
saw that.
there's art books of this guy's work showing you the entire process from sketch to ink to cover to color to everything. He shows you the entire process. So many of his works, like I don't think this guy uses AI. This guy's just good. Don't quote me on that, but I really don't think this guy uses AI. Just having known him for years and known his work for years, he's just a beast. And I'm really proud of, like, not that he needs, my gratitude, but I'm really proud of Dan Panosian for pushing himself, for always trying to take on new styles. Like, that's impressive. You don't see a lot of artists do that these days. You see a lot of them, they find their own visual identity, and they just try to like work within that. And whereas like Dan's like, no, I'm gonna try, trying this and that. So I love that. This came out last week.
Yes.
That is Radiant Black Volume 6, The Catalyst War of Infinite Earths. That's the title. The Catalyst War, or Infinite Earth, sorry. It's called Infinite Earth, but it just says The Catalyst War, Infinite Earths there. So yeah, gorgeous trade. And you've got a quote from Matt Cernaker from Comics Online, who we all know. Kyle, if you ever need a Poco, I'm just saying. I actually technically do have one too, so it's not my first time. I will say,
you got me thinking. Since we're love that page.
By the way, wait, before you continue, they included Supermassive 2024.
Oh, really? Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So,
I mean, it is integral to the story, so I get it.
But it
But
wasn't solicited, so
this is making me think, if now that we're in, not year 2, but like phase 2 of Radiant Black, like new jumping on point, if they're gonna change the design of the paperbacks.
That's actually, I was thinking about that too. That's a really good point. Knowing them and how much they like uniform design, I don't think they will. I think
we'll stick with what we have.
I think we'll stick, because if like I go back to the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like that design style is gorgeous. Might as well preserve it. But I'm also thinking like Like, yeah, because like they have this motif like going on or the theme going on the covers, right? Of like there's always someone flying towards something. I'm curious if they'll keep that. Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. And what would that look like in the next volume, considering
Right.
we've seen. I don't want to. By the way, guys, there's a reason we haven't posted the Radiant Black 31 covers on the show. It's because they're out there. Anyone can go see them. We don't want to spoil it for anyone because the winner of the vote is on the cover. So it's like, and they're unmasked. So it's like if someone's seeing it for the first time, they're gonna get spoiled. That's why I haven't posted it anywhere. But I think it's been a while. It's been long enough. So yeah, Radiant Black 31 covers out there. Make sure you get your pre-orders in. Volume 6 is out. We are still giving away the hardcover. My postage was stuck in Canada Post with the strike, so I couldn't get my box. I'm finally gonna get it soon. So that hardcover, we still have it available for the giveaway. So once we hit 400 subscribers, we're going to give the book away. So if you're interested, check that out. And last but not least, the very last thing we have to mention, and I'll pull up an image here, but this Wednesday, as in 2 days from now, probably 1 day from the day the episode drops, because we're going to drop it tomorrow, there's a ash can that is coming out called Radiant Black, the story so far. It has a really cool cover, unique cover. But what they told us is it's all just a recap with panels from existing issues, from the first 30 issues. And Michael Busuttil said there's only 1/3 of a page that has new panels, and he's like, the new panels are going to be from upcoming issues anyway. So if you miss out on this, don't worry. We were told that. So I have some work with the comic book shop, so they come in bundles of 10. And they're solicited as free, but even you still have to kind of pay for them, but they're very cheap. They're solicited as free. So Michael said it's up to the comic book stores whether they want to give it away for free or not.
Yeah.
My store will be giving away for free. Just try to get new readers in.
When do these come out again?
Tomorrow?
It's supposed to be this Wednesday.
This Wednesday? Okay.
Yeah. So you go to comic shop. Yeah. Some stores do get things later. So like I know maybe some stores will get it a week from now. I remember when the Kaya Ashcan dropped, which was like 3 months ago. They did the same thing for the Kaya image comic by Wes Craig. Love that book. That book, the Ashcan nominee stores got it, but it was free where I went. So I got it. Like I got one for myself, but it was many comic stores I went to didn't even have any. Not because they ran out, they just didn't get it. So it has to be something your store is aware of and they like choose to get. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's not technically free because you have to pay for the shipping, and that shit's expensive. So here, I'll pull up the cover of that so everyone can see it, but it'll take me a second so you guys can keep the conversation going.
New cover, yeah, by Marcelo Costa, I believe, and it's all beautifully colored and everything.
Yeah,
no, it really does look fantastic. I'm gonna pick one up. Why not?
Me too, for sure.
Why not?
That's be cool to have.
I'm not sure about the size, like how big it is. It does
I
look.
think it's gonna be smaller then, right?
Yeah, it looks a little
smaller.
smaller.
It's a single issue size. It looks small
okay.
because of the distance in the picture. It's a single issue size. It should be. Maybe it is smaller. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know, but it should be single issue size. Gorgeous cover you can see there. Someone was like, I think it was Jordan or someone else. I can't remember who it was that was asking like, where is
Yellow?
Where's Radiant Yellow?
Yeah.
And he's like, is he in the back? And I'm like, that's actually a really good question. But like technically, this is spoilers, so skip the next 30 seconds if you haven't read the book, if you're not caught up. Technically, because Radiant Yellow surrenders his Radiant at the end of the Catalyst War, I feel like this is a pretty accurate cover.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, because there's no Radiant Yellow anymore. Not like at the moment. So maybe that is why.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Are you guys, I'm assuming you're gonna try to get this?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll pick one up.
I got 10. Like I got a bundle for myself that I'm gonna be putting around all of Canada where I live. I'm gonna be giving them away to places. I'm just putting them in random places. Yeah, just to get people like literally just like those public libraries, the ones that are free where you see those books that people share, community libraries or whatever. I'm gonna put some in there and try to give away as many as I can. And if we get extras, if I have some left over, we'll give them away on the show if people want them and they don't have them. So we'll do that, okay? Anyways, but run to your comic shops, let them know you want one. I think this is really cool. What Michael said, and I second this, is that they want these to preferably go to new readers because the intent of this Ashcan was to bring in new readers, was to advertise the book, give them a very quick summary of the book so far to bring new readers into the book. I think that's a great idea. So yeah, please try to, give them to your friends. If you have friends that you think might be interested. I would recommend if you have friends that like Invincible, give them that Ashcan. I think that would get them on Radiant Black. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That covers pretty much everything we had to cover today. it's an exciting time. You know, new year, same show, but a lot of cool things coming up. So the what is it called? The newsletter. There's an issue with the newsletter. Some of the images aren't loading for whatever reason when I try to print the final draft, because what I do is it's a digital thing, but I also print it for us for like the storage. There's some images that are not popping up, and it's also affecting the digital thing. So I'm reworking it. Also, Matt just got really busy with life, and you know, he's taking on more hours at work, so he couldn't do his submission, which is fine. So we're just proceeding without it, so it doesn't take long. I think we'll probably have, for real, like no joke, no exaggeration, no bullshit, I think we'll have the newsletter up within the next 7 days. I think that's how long it'll take me. Not this Friday, because the Marvel Rivals season's coming out. I've already cleared the schedule. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna do shit on Friday other than play Marvel Rivals after work. So I'm telling you the truth. But it'll be up very soon. I'm really proud of it. We put more into this one than the last one. So there's a lot of really fun things. There's one where it's like I just made a playlist, a Rogue Sun like music playlist, just songs that we thought like people would like. Like one that's Avenged Sevenfold, that like the more you hear it, it's so much it's so Dylan that I'm just like, it's really hard to separate the song from the character now. So yeah, so some fun stuff to look forward to. Hopefully somehow we can get the card games and we can play those two. I don't think that's gonna
we'll see.
But
We'll see. It's out of my hands at this point.
Yeah, it is. And hopefully the other Kickstarters, if you haven't read it, we already brought this up, but if you haven't read it, if you backed Inferno Go Red Volume 2, the first third of the whole thing just dropped on the Kickstarter digital. So go read that. It's fantastic. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to add before we head out here?
No, I think we're good.
No, that's it. Vicarious 3 up soon.
Yes.
Lots of good Ryan Parrott goodness, and that's it. Good issue of C.O.W.L.
Yes. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some more creative interviews coming up soon. If you haven't checked out our last one, check out the one we did with Marcelo Costa and Eduardo Ferrigato, the co-creator, Marcelo Costa co-creator and artist of Radiant Black, Eduardo Ferrigato, artist of Radiant Black as well. Done several other things. So much fun. Yeah. And last but not least, yeah, we'll hope to have those creator interviews up. If you have any questions that you'd like us to ask on your behalf to the creators, please, put them in the comments, put them in the Discord. We will ask them for you. So yeah, anyways, I think that's pretty much it, guys. It's exciting. We're very excited for 2025. We're excited for the return of the Massiveverse, return of the Reis shows we mentioned earlier. There's so much cool shit to look forward to. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. And last but not least, we mentioned that Rogue Sun's getting new villains, but we did also mention, in case you missed the interview, Marcelo Costa, someone is asking, are there going to be new characters in Radiant Black? Yes, there are going to be new characters in Radiant Black. Why is Marcelo Costa not the artist on Radiant Black 31? Eduardo is filling in for that issue because Marcelo is currently designing those characters right now. So
exciting.
We'll see you next time.
Exciting stuff.
Yep. We'll see you next time, everyone. Stay radiant.